Have you ever wondered how Moroccan bread is made? No? Well, you clicked on this video, so let's assume you have at least a morsel of curiosity. Now let's take a moment to appreciate the humble loaf of Moroccan bread, or khobz, as it's locally known. This isn't just a side dish, folks, it's a utensil, a sponge for soaking up those flavorful tagine juices, and a cultural icon all wrapped in a crusty golden shell. Think of it as the pizza of Morocco. But instead of being a Friday night, eat in front of the telly kind of meal, it's a daily staple, more akin to, well, sliced bread. But don't let its simplicity fool you. The making of Moroccan bread is an art form, as intricate and nuanced as the tapestries in a Marrakesh market. So, are you ready to dive into the world of Moroccan bread making? Buckle up, because it's going to be a crumby ride. Making Moroccan bread starts unsurprisingly with the dough. But this isn't just any dough, it's the dough of legends. Now you might be thinking, what's so legendary about it? Well, it's all about the ingredients and how they come together. You see, the recipe is deceptively simple: flour, water, yeast, and salt. That's it. 4 humble ingredients that when combined create something truly magical. First up, we have the flour. Not just any flour, mind you. This is the stuff of life, the backbone of our dough. It's like the straight-A student who always sits at the front of the class ready to absorb the knowledge, or in this case, the water. Ah yes, water, the elixir of life, the bringer of hydration. Without it, our flour would be as dry as a desert and about as much fun to eat. But add just the right amount and you've got yourself a party. Next up, the yeast. Now, yeast is a funny little thing. It's alive, it's invisible, and it's responsible for making our dough rise, kind of like an invisible superhero that swoops in to save the day, only instead of a cape, it wears a microscopic cell wall. It's like the secret agent of the baking world, working undercover to create fluffy, delicious bread. Finally, we have the salt, the unsung hero of the baking world. It might not seem like much, but without it, our bread would taste about as exciting as cardboard. It's the spice of life, the zest in our zestiness. And there you have it, 4 simple ingredients that, when mixed together in just the right way, create the dough for our Moroccan bread. It's like a symphony, where each instrument plays its part to create a beautiful piece of music. But here's the kicker. While these ingredients may seem simple, the process of making the dough is anything but. It's a delicate dance, a balancing act that requires precision, patience, and a little bit of luck. And voila, you have your dough, but don't get too excited, we're just getting started. Now that you have your dough, it's time to let it rise. Yes, that's right, like a phoenix from the ashes, your dough must ascend. Now what's the big deal about letting the dough rise, you ask? Well, the rising process is one of the most crucial steps in bread making. It's like the puberty of dough. It's where the dough grows taller, broader, and develops its unique character. It's the difference between a flat, tasteless pancake and a fluffy, delectable Moroccan bread. Let's talk science for a moment. The yeast in the dough, much like a teenager, is constantly hungry. As it feeds on the sugars in the flour, it produces carbon dioxide gas. This gas gets trapped within the dough, creating bubbles, which in turn give our bread its light and airy texture. So, without the rise, you might as well be making a bread brick. Now on to the waiting game. And oh, what a game it is. Waiting for the dough to rise is a bit like watching a pot of water boil. It's slow, seemingly uneventful, but absolutely necessary. It's a test of patience, a lesson in mindfulness, and a fantastic opportunity to catch up on that book you've been neglecting. But don't just walk away and forget about it. Much like a simmering pot of water, you need to keep an eye on your dough. You're looking for it to double in size. No, triple is not better. This isn't a competition to see who can create the dough version of the Hulk. Doubling is just right. So what do you do once your dough has risen and looks like a proud, puffed-up peacock? Well, you give it a good punch. Yes, you heard that right. A good hearty punch to deflate it. It's not personal, it's bread science. So you've waited patiently, and your dough has risen. Congratulations, you're one step closer to your own homemade Moroccan bread. We've made our dough, we've let it rise, and now it's time for the final frontier, baking. The stage where our dough transforms into a golden, aromatic loaf of Moroccan bread. I know, you're salivating already. Well, hold on to your taste buds because we're just getting started. Now, shaping the dough into a round loaf is an art in itself. You gently pat it, caress it, whisper kind words to it. Okay, maybe not the last part unless you're really passionate about your bread, but the point is, it's a delicate process. You want to shape it with love and care, but not too much, lest you deflate that beautiful rise we worked so hard for. After shaping, it's time to pop it in the oven. Ah, the oven, a baker's best friend and worst enemy. It can either transform your dough into a heavenly loaf, or reduce it to a sad, charred lump. It's like a game of roulette, but with higher stakes. Because let's face it, the only thing sadder than losing money is burning bread, and then comes the hardest part of all, the wait. It's like watching a pot of water, willing it to boil. You can almost hear the clock ticking louder, seconds turning into minutes, minutes turning into what feels like a lifetime. But don't worry, it's not a lifetime, it's just, about 20 minutes. It's a test of patience, but remember, good things come to those who wait. And finally, the moment of truth arrives. The oven timer rings, you open the door, and there it is, your masterpiece. A perfect golden loaf of Moroccan bread. It's hot, it's crusty, it's everything you dreamed it would be. And there you have it. Fresh, homemade Moroccan bread. It's a labor of love, but trust me, your taste buds will thank you. So, there you have it, folks. The secret to making Moroccan bread. Not so secret anymore, is it? We've journeyed from grains of flour to the crusty magnificence of a freshly baked loaf. You've become a dough whisperer, a yeast tamer, and a baker extraordinaire. So what's next? A career change to a Moroccan bakery, perhaps? And that concludes our journey into the world of Moroccan bread making. Remember, practice makes perfect. So go forth, knead, rise, bake, and conquer.